All right, guys, welcome to Introduction to Pay-Per-Call Leads. My name is Brendan Brandt. I am the CEO of Novus Leads. We are a lead aggregation company out of Washington, D.C., which is actually owned by my parent corporation. We are a private equity group up in Washington, D.C. that owns and operates various insurance-related businesses. We own actually a couple of lead aggregators and a few independent insurance agencies here in the state of Virginia. Today we're going to be talking about pay-per-call leads, what they are, how they're generated, and how you can actually use them to write some serious premium dollars into your agency. So a little bit about me. My name is Brendan Brandt again. I'm the Chief Executive Officer here of one of our portfolio companies. Prior to starting Novus, I was actually the founder and CEO of Monument Social, which we are very pleased to announce a partnership with in launching these leads. So anyone who needs social media advertising, marketing services, I encourage you to go speak with them and vice versa. Previously, I worked on the corporate social team at one of the largest insurance companies on planet Earth, the largest in the United States, and did agency marketing there as well. I've been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, MSN Money, and the Today Show, mostly around digital marketing and insurance. So with that, we're going to go ahead and kind of hop right into this and kick it off with sort of the current state of things. So where are we in digital marketing as it pertains to insurance? Direct mail, your response rate is as a rule, 0.2%. The good thing is direct mail is fairly cheap, and depending on the policies that you write, you can actually turn a profit over the long term if you multi-line, if you retain them for a couple of years after you write the initial policy. We're going to kind of define that for this conversation as the worst way of generating new business. Okay, and I use this term very, very generously. We have the sort of traditional internet lead, right? So this is going to be something you buy from a lead aggregator, a net quote, an insure me. It has everything you need to make a quote, or to build a quote, excuse me. It has all the contact information that you need to reach out to them. But many times these are policyholders or potential policyholders who are shoppers. They're very hard to keep on your books. They are very, very hard to get in touch with. And these leads are almost never exclusive, meaning that if you're buying them, so are 3 or 4 other agents in your area who the aggregator has also sold them to. So while in theory this is a great practice, it is very, very hard to turn a profit, as the conversion rate can be incredibly low. So a lot of them are preaching 10%, but I think that's probably a bit high. Better is advertising. So this is something where you're going to spend some money, preferably somewhere on the internet where you can track and get a pretty good feel for what your conversion rate will ultimately be. There's not really sort of a industry standard conversion rate on web advertising. The industry standard on calls, I think, is about 25%. If you have an agency that's designed to handle some of this stuff, you can get up to 30, 35%, sometimes even better. If it's a referral, obviously it'll be much higher than that. These are ads that are run on social media. These are pay-per-click ads on like a Google or Yahoo, where you're paying every time somebody clicks back to your website. The unfortunate thing about this type of methodology is you're sort of spraying and praying, for lack of a better term. So you're hoping that someone's going to click onto your site and they're going to fill out a form, they're going to pick up the phone and call you. So you're really not converting anything. You're not buying a lead. You're just sending someone to your website in hopes that they will actually convert themselves, whether it be filling out a web form again or picking up the phone and calling you. Now, in between better and best, I have a question mark. That's kind of going to be what we're talking about today. So at the top of this sort of pyramid, if you will, you have referrals, right? So these are sort of the holy grail of insurance growth, of business development. You want people that are going to hand off their neighbors, their friends, their family, and refer you as the best agent or the best agency on planet Earth. And as you guys well know, those clients are sticky. They're not going to fall off your books, and they're fairly easy to convert. So we are going to be talking about that question mark today, which are going to be pay-per-call leads. So they're going to be better than advertising. They're certainly going to be better than direct mail and internet leads, but ultimately there's really going to be nothing that anyone, at least from my perspective, will be able to replicate that is better than a referral from a friend or a family member. So what are pay-per-call leads? So from here on out, I'm hoping that this will be the shortest, most informative webinar that you guys have ever had, and you all go out and run and buy these things. But before we do, it's pretty important to understand what you're actually getting yourself into. So pay-per-call leads are essentially just what they sound like. So for the sake of this discussion, a pay-per-call lead is someone who found your ad online, clicked the button, and connected to your office instantaneously for the purpose of having an insurance discussion. Ideally, they want a quote. They may just have a question. They may be new to the area. They may be leaving the area, a million different things, but it's going to be an insurance discussion. So that's kind of what we're shooting for. So these are always going to be 100% exclusive. So since they're calling directly into your office, there is no way for another agent to kind of get in there, break up the process, or chase them down. There's nothing that's personally identifiable when you're buying a pay-per lead, whether it be from an aggregator like us, or you go out and you do it yourself. So the only time they become personally identifiable is when you have them on the phone and you're asking the questions that you need. They are highly, highly trackable, so you can track everything from location to phone number to call duration. You can actually set it up if you go with a company like ours, where you will actually be notified before you connect to the person that this was a lead generated by your pay-per-call program. And they are highly, highly targeted. So just like anything else that you can get on the internet these days, when you're spending this type of money, when you're spending $10, $15, $20 a lead, you want to make sure that you're getting the ideal customer. So you want to focus by line of business, you can do that. You want to focus by geography, you can do that too. And we'll get into that stuff a little bit more here later in the presentation. And lastly, I had this sort of in all caps because I truly believe this. This is someone coming from someone who has bought leads at a massive, massive scale for the largest insurance company in the United States. This is someone who has generated thousands and thousands of leads for other agents. This is someone who, coming from someone who owns agencies and has bought internet leads. What we are talking about today is the exact opposite. This is not something that you have to chase down. This is not something that's going to fall off your books. This is someone that is going to call you and ask you for information about insurance, ask you for a quote, has picked you out, and wants to have a discussion with you or your agency specifically. So how are pay-per-call leads generated? There's really two different ways. So number one, you can have a company like ours where you have what are called owned web properties. So we have something like this. It's called insurancefalcon.com, and there's a million of them out there. They're branded, and you've seen, I'm sure, all kinds of people have these things. And when you land on a page like this, it actually will display a phone prompt. So this is only visible to people who are on a mobile device. And when they click anywhere on the website or when they land on a certain website like this insurancefalcon.com, they will be automatically prompted to call out to your office or to a call center or to whoever we are building these pages for. The other way, and what is much, much more common, is through a paid advertisement. So this would be something that's served predominantly on Google, and it's served, again, only to users who are on a mobile device. So they'll see an ad, and it'll say, Russell Insurance, Front Royal, Virginia. And if they interact with the ad in any way, they have no choice but to call out to the agency. So they know exactly what they're doing when they're clicking. Google does a very, very good job of not really sugarcoating or being misleading about where the link or the ad is directing you. And again, because it's only served on a mobile device, when you click that link, you're going to get a little dialog box like you see right here on the right that says call or cancel. And for those of you guys who end up buying pay-per-call leads, you will actually only be paying when someone has clicked call and is connected with your office and you actually have them on the phone. So there's no abandonment rate or anything like that to be concerned about. These are, for a lack of a better term, leads that are calling into your office and are physically on the phone with you. That is the only time that you're going to be paying. So now that we sort of understand, at least hopefully, how these things are being generated, it's important to understand how the targeting actually works. So just like if you are buying a lead from a lead aggregator, or if you are sending direct mail, or you're running an advertisement, you're not going to sort of, again, using the spray and pray term, just kind of throw stuff out there willy-nilly and hope that you get the ideal customer. With pay-per-call leads, it's no different. So we can target based on geography. We do that one of two ways. So one will be using an IP address. So that's sort of the unique identifier that anybody has based on where they're accessing the internet from. So it can be your cell phone data, it can be Wi-Fi at your house or your place of business, or really anywhere in between. That information can be associated with the city and state, so we can route it to your agency based on where they're accessing. Additionally, we can do it based on context. So if we're running advertisements to generate these pay-per-call leads, it will be based on a search term. So let's say, for example, someone is searching auto insurance, Washington, D.C. When they click the call button, they will be sent back to an agency who we've partnered with in Washington, D.C., or whoever wants to buy a lead from that locale. Additionally, you can do targeting based on line of business. We do this a couple of different ways. So one, again, would be contextual. So are they searching for auto insurance? Are they searching for homeowners? Are they searching for life or commercial? Or it can be done based on the landing page that we send them to. So Insurance Falcon, that one that I was using as an example, is auto specific. We have several others which are fire specific or commercial specific, and they are reaching out through those. And then the bottom two are pretty straightforward. So device, we only serve these ads to mobile devices. We don't want people to land on these on a desktop or on a tablet either. We want them to be able to literally click instantaneously to be connected to your office. So we don't want there to be any abandonment. We don't want them to see a phone number and say, oh, you know what, I'll call Russell later this afternoon. They get caught up and they're driving by a different agency in the neighborhood and they decide to stop in there instead. So these are people that are on mobile devices, iPhone, Android, anything with smartphone capabilities that can do the click-to-call function, and then the one right above that, time of day. This is pretty straightforward. So you don't want someone calling your office when you're not there. So these are delivered generally only during business hours unless we have a specific scenario where we're working with someone who has a 24-hour operation or is trying to generate these things on a much, much larger scale. Tracking. So I'm a bit of a tracking nut when it comes to spending money on advertising. I'm a big, big believer that any dollar you spend with the intent of spending that money to generate business, insurance, premiums, or otherwise, needs to be tracked very, very closely. So we've partnered with some software technology on the back end to make sure that our customers have the best tracking ability in the industry. So you will receive a monthly report that looks basically like what you see below. Hopefully there will be about 50 or 60 of those lines instead of just one. But that row right there is pretty standard. So you will have caller geography, you will have caller phone number, you have the time of day that the call came in, and then you also be able to track the call duration. So we're really looking for calls that are 2.5 minutes and above because we want to know that you guys at the very least have basically set yourself up for a follow-up appointment, a meeting, and anything above that, if you start to get into the 5, 10, 20 minutes, you're looking at someone who's hopefully getting a quote over the phone, potentially going to buy in the business depending on who your carriers are, if they have a direct buying capability. I think we have a few captives on here, and I know you guys have that type of technology. So that's basically what it looks like from the tracking side. Additionally, if you work with, again, an aggregator like us, you will receive what's called a whisper message. So when your producer is picking up the phone or you're picking up the phone in your own agency, right as you're getting connected, right before the customer is on the line, you will hear Novus spoken into your phone. The customer doesn't hear it, you do. Immediately following that, you're actually connected to them, so you know that this is a lead that was generated by us, and you can approach it as such. We have some word tracks and things of that nature up on our website, which can kind of help you handle these type of leads specifically. So pricing, and I'm going to kind of go into greater detail about this on the next slide, but right now we charge $20 per lead. There is a 25% off promotion running for the next week, and that will remain on the books as long as you remain a client. So you'll be getting these leads at $15. They're exclusive. They are calling into your office. You don't have to chase them down. And when you compare it side by side to some of the other traditional internet leads in the industry, we're really right about neck and neck with that discount. We offer all lines of business. If you don't see it on here, chances are that we can probably do it. So obviously all the standard personal stuff. I know we had some agents on our last webinar who actually specialize in SR22 and the non-standard stuff. We can do that for you as well. It's a little bit different. You're not going to achieve the same levels of volume, but we can certainly help you out there as well. We have auto, home, renters, life, health, and long-term care. We can also do med sups for anyone who does the non-mandatory stuff, and commercial as well. A quick caveat about the commercial stuff. we had a couple of big agencies down in Florida come aboard, and we were very careful to tell them up front that the commercial stuff is going to be small box. You're not going to write a $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 premium policy off of this. And if you do have one sneak through, chances are it's going to be something that is incredibly hard to place. So we actually were talking to a client the other day, and they actually had a garage owners generated through here, and it was a whole auto body shop and had some workers' comp claims and a million other things that made it very, very hard to place. So if you do have those bigger things coming through, it will probably look like that. But just to set the expectation that if you're going the commercial route, you're going to get a lot of the smaller BOP stuff, which is good business, but you're not going to get those massive premiums. That's probably going to have to come from the good old-fashioned production method. That is pretty much it. What questions do you guys have? Renee, would you mind opening up the line? If anybody has a question, you can hop on and ask me now. You can enter it into the chat box. I think there's some sort of functionality that probably allows for that. Or if you'd like to go visit Novus Leads, you can send us a message there. You can email us. You can call us directly.
Yep. Everybody is unmuted. Does anyone have any questions we can answer for you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, how many leads can you generate per day, these quality leads?
One second. Brendan?
Yep. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. So the answer is a lot's going to depend on the targeting. So if you're going to open it up and you're looking to target, a state or a metropolitan area, and you're looking for, a mandatory product line, auto or home or something like that, the answer is really going to be thousands. I mean, you can generate quite a few, but again, it's just based on population, so where you're going to be targeting it, and the line of business. So, realistically, if you're targeting auto or home or even something like life insurance, if you guys are captive, then you can generate literally thousands over the course of a couple of days or weeks. If you're targeting, let's say med subs or something like that for long-term care policies, you're probably going to struggle to do that type of volume. We can still probably do quite a bit, but sort of a long-winded way of saying pretty much unlimited volume if you're in the right area and you're targeting mandatory stuff. So, anything else, guys? All right, guys. Well, listen, please feel free to hop over to the website and reach out to myself or Renee over at Monument Social. It's monumentsocial.com. And we will be happy to discuss anything and everything with you when it pertains to pay-per-call leads, digital marketing, advertising in general. Please do not hesitate to reach out. So wish you guys all the best. Hope you guys enjoy your long weekend, and look forward to talking to you soon.
Great. Thank you, Brendan. Thank you, everyone, for joining.